welcome everybody. You're still listening to Blood on the Mic.
I mean, probably not still, but
Maybe you've been watching a few of our videos, going through several of our podcasts. And
hopefully.
you're just like, oh, this is the latest one. Let's see what they've been talking about over here. Well, this is Blood on the Mic, podcast where we talk about all things related to music. Your host, David Mercado, and this is your other host,
Louis Torna. And today we're going to be talking about emo rap. This genre of music started really around like early 2010s to the mid 2010s. That's when it really started picking up steam. And I'm not huge in the emo rap, but I'm really interested in the style just because of the fact that like a genre that blends like hip hop with emo is like something you would have never guessed would have happened. I don't think.
I don't think maybe if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I would have been like emo and rap. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the combination.
Well, 5 years ago is kind of when it started happening. So maybe like
Right.
10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Yeah, but even so, like I don't know. Nowadays, it's not really anything shocking, considering what I've heard hip hop go through since.
Well, yeah, it's been a progression. So like to define emo rap is basically like rap that takes elements of traditional rap, trap, modern mainstream rap, and then mixes it with elements of indie rock, emo, pop punk, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the term emo rap, was really apparently coined by this guy Slug from this rap group Atmosphere in 1997. And
Okay, that's a while back, yeah.
but if you listen to his music and kind of the people he was talking about, it's more really talking about like what they're rapping about, not really the sound.
I see.
So like people who talk about like heartbreak or depression, drug abuse or whatever, like that's emo rap, because you're talking about your feelings, your emotions, and especially in like the 90s and the 2000s, really up until like Drake, like it wasn't cool to talk about your emotions at all.
You typically didn't. I would say Drake and other people too, like Kanye and even Kid Cudi. I think also like
Kid Cudi and Kanye West and Drake, I think, were the biggest precursors to this sound. They're the biggest, like, kind of the forefathers of people thinking, like, yeah, we could talk about our emotions. We can talk about, especially, like, Kanye West's the album 808s and Heartbreak. That was, like, really the explosion of, like, that album is probably the most important album to current rap music or, like, mainstream rap music now.
Mm-hmm.
They really took that sound and the way that he was rapping on that album and like what he was rapping about, like that's like everything now.
Yeah. That album, I think, as the years have gone on, I've seen how important that album has been. I think maybe, have I discussed this before? I don't know. Worth reiterating. At the time, that album, at least to me, didn't really make any waves. To me, it was just kind of like, oh, cool, Kanye doing some 80s stuff. Everybody's doing some 80s stuff. Like, why wouldn't he do some 80s stuff? I've just definitely come to appreciate it more. Seeing how it's affected all these other rappers since.
But yeah, that album. Also, Kid Cudi was a huge influence because he talked about a lot, about emotions and shit. And I feel like he was one of the first, not one of the first, but like one of the bigger artists that really kind of like incorporate like kind of like an indie alternative rock influence into his stuff.
Yeah.
He really had that vibe and he was kind of pushing that pretty hard. So he was kind of pushing those sounds more forward along with his kind of like emotional lyrics and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Rap and rock have not always had like the most cohesive relationship. I mean, you can pick out like Run DMC, you can pick out new metal and like
there's been attempts. Rage Against the Machine is one of the probably the most successful attempt at a rap rock thing.
Oh yeah,
and they had that whole new metal shit in the 90s and early 2000s, which wasn't really successful, but I mean it's there. And honestly, I think the most,
it succeeded in one sense. It sold.
It did sell. I mean, I think this emo rap is probably the most seamless blending of rock and rap music
Right.
happening that's happened so far, because it doesn't seem like a gimmick at all. A lot of that, most of the shit that was happening before just seemed like a gimmick. People
Yeah.
were like, oh, let's blend rock and rap together. But this just seems like these kids grew up listening to emo and
Yeah,
and rap.
and rap.
So
And
they're like,
just
yeah, that's what I'm gonna.
the two things I love. Let's put them together. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I mean, it also makes sense that it's happening now. I feel like more and more kids, just like young people, there's less division as to like the kind of music that they listen to.
Yeah, because
growing up.
everybody now grew up listening to everything on the internet. Like, there's no
Right.
borders. So, and also, gotta mention Drake when you're talking about emotional rapping, because, you know,
True.
he's really the most popular. I mean, he's probably the biggest rapper, one of the biggest rappers of all time, definitely the biggest rapper now.
He's all in his
And-
feelings.
Yeah, like that, he made a career out of just fucking whining about girls.
Kiki.
Dude. So yeah, Drake is also a big influence on just the emotional rapping. But the first person to actually call themselves an emo rapper was this guy, a German rapper named Casper in 2009, who kind of, I didn't listen to any of this shit, but according to Wikipedia, you know, he blends elements of punk and hardcore and emo and shit in his music. So that's kind of interesting to me that it started as early as 2009, a guy actually calling himself an emo rapper.
Right.
Yeah, and really, yeah, I don't know how much you know about these like internet rap things that were kind of happening in the early 2010s, like, you know, like cloud rap, SoundCloud rap.
I'm not like too well versed. I know that like, you know, like Odd Feature. I'm pretty sure they started on the internet, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, they're huge internet rap.
And then like I know Chance the Rapper. That's how he kind of came up on
Yeah,
SoundCloud.
but there were like genres of rap that were like specifically made because of the internet. I mean, like Lil B was really the forefather of all this
Lil B,
internet
yeah.
rap shit. Like, we gotta do. I think we should definitely do a video about Lil B,
The
because
basic god.
the amount that he's really influenced all rap after him, because like he kind of, I mean, he was just kind of like let people know that you can just do anything.
I feel like Ellen, right hand Ellen.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you can just make a song where you just say the
he
words
had,
Ellen
like-
DeGeneres
he had, like,
over and over again.
He had no shame. I don't know. I didn't really listen to his music, and I thought he was a meme. I mean, he is kind of a meme.
Yeah, he's basically.
But I just loved how brazen he was. He
Yeah.
like, gave no shits about like what he was doing. It was just
Yeah.
like,
And really, this like internet rap, SoundCloud rap kind of thing is, to me, the equivalent of punk rock, but for hip hop,
right.
you know?
The DIY. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole DIY stuff, the fact that like the old heads kind of hate it and think it's like stupid because it's not super lyrical. At least,
Yeah.
I don't think they do as much anymore, but definitely when this shit started, especially with Lil B, they're just like, who the fuck is this guy saying nothing while he's rapping? And like,
Yeah. No, I definitely see a comparison to punk, even so far as to like the Sid Vicious characters as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, so with this stuff in the early 2010s, internet rap, cloud rap, you know, A$AP Rocky kind of took that cloud rap sound in the early 2010s. He was one of the bigger people. You know, A$AP Rocky and Odd Future kind of were people who started on the internet that got huge, you know. But there's also a bunch of people that just stayed underground. And there was kind of a SoundCloud rap scene that happened in the mid 2010s, really in South Florida, you know, in Broward County specifically.
Broward County. That's where I'm from.
Yeah. So, you know, people like Triple X, Tentacion, he's
I know
from
him, yeah.
Broward, Ski Mask the Slump God, Denzel Curry.
I've
And-
always felt like South Florida rap has never been taken too seriously.
I think it's I don't know if it's taken seriously now, but that movement that happened in the middle 2010s was really influential. It was kind of like that SoundCloud rap movement was all Miami, all South Florida.
Yeah.
And they were really leading the way in like this new punk rock attitude. Like, I mean, if you listen to the beats of like Triple X, at least his early shit that was on SoundCloud is super aggressive. Him just screaming on a mic. Like, it sounds like he's just screaming into a laptop microphone. Like, the quality is just all distorted, but it's just so much aggression and so, like, much energy. I love it. I mean, you know, I originally, when I pitched this to you, I said we should cover Triple X. I don't think he falls directly into emo rap, which is why I don't think we're going to cover him, because he kind of did a lot of different things. He's tied to the scene, but his music isn't really reflective of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like people in the post-punk scene, like fucking Blondie or whatever, like, are they post-punk? They were tied to it because they were in, like, CBGBs, but...
I mean, they're more new wave.
Yeah.
It's
And Talking
related.
Heads and... Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm fucking talking about this.
Yeah.
But like, people like Triple X, Tentacion, he got big. Lil Uzi Vert is also kind of tied to emo rap, if you know anything about Lil Uzi Vert.
I've listened to some of it.
Yeah, like, he kind of have elements of emo rap in his shit, but it's more like, I think he takes more really of the aesthetic of, like, you know, wearing fucking, like, leather jackets or whatever, and, like fucking rock band shirts and things, and, like, it's kind of like a fucking emo goth aesthetic.
Okay.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And also, I think Danny Brown, honestly, was a big influence, or at least he's kind of one of the pioneers of talking more about the downsides of drug abuse and partying and depression, and, you know, or like Triple X, Danny Brown was like, that's all that album is about. You know, at least the first hand is about his, like, partying and shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't
second
consider
half-
it emo though. It's definitely more
No.
like, I don't know, a different is
But
more
just
Joy Division side of things.
Well, yeah, but just, well, you know, Joy Division was a precursor to, you know, fucking goth and then emo and shit eventually. Right. You know, there's a whole pipeline, there's a whole timeline to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny, just the way that he talked about like drug abuse and shit, and it's kind of similar to me the way that, like, people like Juice WRLD and Lil Peep would eventually start talking about their drug abuse and depression and shit.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that in Danny Brown as well. But so one of the biggest artists that come out of the emo rap scene was Lil Peep. I mean, I think
like the Candy,
like a small version of the Candy. I guess Lil Peep,
a little version of the Candy. Yeah.
So Lil Peep was kind of one of the bigger artists to come out of the emo rap scene. He was born. His real name is Gustav Elijah R. His last name is A-H-R. I don't know how to pronounce it. R, I guess.
Okay.
Born in Allentown, Pennsylvania in 1996. Younger than I am, which is weird to me because I was born in 1994. But either way, so, you know, he was born in Pennsylvania but grew up in Long Beach, New York. So probably, like, right next to it.
Yeah, like Long Island, yeah.
He started releasing music on SoundCloud after finishing high school. He moved to LA. So that was around, like, 2014 when he first started releasing stuff on SoundCloud. And he released Lil Peep Part 1, his first mixtape, first, I guess, official mixtape in 2015. So he gained more popularity online through his mixtapes and singles and stuff, that basically, like, a strong internet following, strong, like, cult following.
On SoundCloud, I'm assuming.
Yeah, all this shit's on SoundCloud.
Okay.
That's where you gain.
That's where
especially
things are happening these days.
Especially 2014, 2015, SoundCloud was a big thing for rap. You know, SoundCloud rap. Yeah. That's a genre. So, Lil Peep Part 1, that's the album that we listened to from Lil Peep.
What we did. Yeah.
So, now we're getting to the album discussion portion.
All right, Lil Peep Part 1 by Lil Peep.
So,
had you listened to this album before?
I'd never listened to this album before. I never listened to any Lil Peep before. I mean, I listened to, like, a couple songs here and there.
Okay.
But I never listened to one of, like, an entire album of his before doing this.
Yeah, besides the stuff that, like, you know, people just play on the regular, I don't know, the aux cord and whatnot. I guess I never really sat down and listened to Lil Peep either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I fully expect you to hate this.
You know, surprisingly, I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. So that right there is maybe, like, surprise number one. Because I also went into it going like, well, look at this guy with his face tattoos.
I know.
And, like, his 18-year-old self. Like, I'm sure I'm not going to, like, be into this. But, you know, it gave me, like, the same feels as, like, some of the emo going on when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So a bit of that, I was like, you know, I get where this is coming from. Like, you know, I've been there before. I get these. I can understand these. These sad vibes that are going on.
I feel like if I heard this while I was in high school, like if this came out between 2008 and 2012, I would have been a huge fan of it. Because, you know, I was I don't know. I wasn't like emo when I was in high school, but I think I had all those feelings.
Right.
And, like I wasn't really like a guy putting on eyeliner and shit.
I think it would have been like a crapshoot if I would have listened to this or not. Cause like I never listened to Thursday really, and this kind of gives me like vibes of like, it's a lot more of like the true emo vibe.
Yeah, this is more like I don't know. It sounds like Def Cab for Cutie or American Football or whatever, where it's like kind of more clean guitar sounds, more like Supreme Sadness, where it's just kind of like you're really just down in the dumps kind of shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it like the emo definitely comes through in like the chords and the guitars that are sampled.
Yeah.
In it.
And even though like apparently he covered like a Blink 182 song or sampled a Blink 182 song in one of these, like this shit does not sound like Blink 182.
No, this at least this first thing over here does not sound like Blink 182. Yeah, no, it definitely sounds more like I don't know, like the Ashboard Confessional or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think what this mixtape really does well is like it kind of captures a vibe, this really sad, like downtrodden vibe, and it does a good job of mixing that like emo sound with like the trap sound.
Yeah.
And kind of mixing them together into the sad trap shit, emo rap. It's just that every song basically sounds exactly the same.
yeah, that's
So-
I would say that's like my main, like my number one complaint too, is that like very single tone, like single.
Yeah, it's
thing going
but
for
it's
it.
like and it's so formulaic. It's just like get a sample of like an emo like guitar, like a slow picked guitar line, and put like trap drums on it, and you're done. And then
Yeah.
just rap on it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But like it's lazy, I guess. But I like the vibe a lot. Like I
Yeah.
can listen to this whole thing and like I've generally liked this album. I don't think it's bad necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, even though I thought it was like too one trick pony, I thought the trick itself was very
Yeah.
innovative. I thought he like pulled it off. So I can't hate on this album.
Yeah, and definitely for the time. I mean, he wasn't the first, but he was one of the first people to really like start doing the sound. So it was at the time it was a little more revolutionary than it is now. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely like lyrically, he seems to be coming through on the emo thing as well.
I mean, all these lyrics are either about like a girl, like heartbreak kind of thing,
Right.
or like his depression, drug abuse, nihilism, just like
Take a Xanax, go to sleep.
yeah. There's a song that samples like an interview with Kurt Cobain where Kurt Cobain's talking about like doing drugs and wanting to kill himself, and he's kind of got like a Kurt Cobain complex.
Yeah.
Like, and actually a lot of rappers in the 2010s had like Kurt Cobain had been a big thing for a lot of these rappers. Like they quote him and stuff, and a lot of these rappers idolize him. And I think really because he was like the last true rock star. You know, a lot of people
Yeah,
were
in
like,
a sense, yeah.
you know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm the Kurt Cobain of my generation," kind of thing. But this isn't about Kurt Cobain.
It's about Lil Peep.
Yeah, and some songs that stood out to me just because they were a little different. Ghost Boy might be my favorite song on the album.
I like the topic that he brings up there. I hadn't heard too many songs about ghosting before.
Yeah, and you know that's a cool thing about recent artists that they're talking more about like modern things, you know, like
Yeah.
ghosting, terms like ghosting and shit.
Yeah, you know, stuff that they live through.
But I like ghosting. I mean Ghost Boy just because the beat is more interesting than any other beat on here.
It also got these keys that I
Yeah.
that I liked.
It's got these cool keys in there. I mean, obviously, it still has a guitar sample that basically every song in this album has,
Right.
and the trap drums and stuff. But like, it's got these cool like synth keys going on in there, and it's got just a little bit more instrumentation. And
Yeah.
like, if more songs on this album did that, like put a little, just something else over it, I think it would have improved it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. There's not too much variety here. It's also very. I mean, the mixing is not great. I don't know what else you would expect from like the
Yeah,
first release
that's
on
not-
SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's got a lo-fi aesthetic to it. Like,
Right,
I
it
mean,
definitely does.
I don't even think it's on purpose. I think it's just what they could do. So
Right, but even just like as you go through the EP or album, whatever it is, just like it goes from louder to softer, like each song.
Yeah.
So like, you know, is definitely has that like a DIY aesthetic.
Yeah.
Um,
Another song I liked was Veins because it has a piano sample instead of a guitar sample.
Ooh.
So that's cool. And it also has more interesting beat because there's like some subtle like string I think like string arrangement in there that pops up. It's probably a sample of some kind of orchestra or something that kind of like hangs in the background during certain parts that, you know, changes things up a little bit. And which one? Oh yeah, and Wannabe has a darker beat. It kind of sounds like some kind of like dark video game.
I didn't like Wannabe.
I like just I like it just because it's different than the other than everything else.
That is a good aspect of it, but it just seemed more like just like a regular trap song.
A little bit, yeah.
And I didn't like the intro. Who was that guy? Like,
Oh damn, son, where'd you find this?
yeah,
That's like a classic trap thing. What do you mean?
yeah. Well, I don't like it.
It's funny. It's just like so internet, like especially like 2014 internet culture. Like that shit was on all these stupid meme videos and stuff like that.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if there's much more to say about this album. It kind of, I think I appreciate it for setting a tone. Really like having that dark, sad, emo tone throughout the whole thing, and really starting that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I can see the appeal. I can see the appeal for sure. I mean, the Ghost Boy and Veins, he said. I also enjoyed Praying to the Sky, The Way I See Things. You know, anything that talks about death and mental issues and like what is it, high school?
High school, I like
a
it was
ballad.
a little bit more upbeat. It was a little faster. He had a faster flow and stuff on it.
Yeah.
He didn't sound like fucking dead. Like he does on like I mean, he doesn't sound dead. It's weird because he has a slow flow and stuff and not super energetic, but he still has a way of like sounding charismatic, I guess.
Yeah, I
instead
get
of
what you're
just
saying.
like lazy.
Yeah, I guess maybe my favorite song might be 5 Degrees. I don't know. There was some screaming in there as well, which I was like, oh, people remember with screaming. It's like a screaming and like,
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, I don't know. It's you really pick out like one or two songs in this album, and you pretty much got the entire album.
Yeah, you can just honestly listening to Praying to the Sky and The Way I See Things, like those are good songs, and it's exactly the same way every other song on this album sounds. So
Yeah.
you could just listen to those.
Yeah,
Just listen to fucking. I mean, but if you like them, listen to the whole thing because it's a good vibe. I can listen to this.
yeah, no, it's a good vibe. It's a decent vibe. Yeah, I don't know if I'll go back to listen to it, but you know, while I listened to it, I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it actually.
Okay. So that was Lil Peep. I kind of chose Lil Peep as the first person to talk about because he kind of, at least that sound in that mixtape is kind of the start of this emo rap thing, the beginnings of the genre.
Yeah, and he kind of blew up too. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
he blew up.
People knew who he was.
Yeah, and so now we're gonna talk about Juice WRLD, and Juice WRLD was born in 1998, so even younger. His real name is Gerard or Jared Anthony Higgins, born in Chicago, born and raised in Chicago. He's a Chicago rapper.
I know Higgins from Chicago.
You know a Higgins from Chicago?
Yeah, when they're related.
I
Maybe,
doubt it.
maybe not. It's a big
It's
city.
a pretty common name, so
Yeah.
I doubt it, but maybe. So he was. I mean, if you listen to his music, you know he's a pretty heavy drug user. He was a pretty heavy drug user, but
Yeah, he's pretty
like,
much. Yeah,
But he started doing drugs in sixth grade. Like he started drinking lean in sixth grade,
That's-
which
yeah,
is
that's wild.
fucking insanity.
I don't even know like what you would have to drink lean for in 6th grade. I don't know.
I mean, for fun. Like,
I mean,
people,
6th grade, I would just come back home and watch the Disney Channel.
people live different lives.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, I wasn't doing shit like that in sixth grade. But yeah, I mean, he started drinking lean in sixth grade, and then shortly after that, started taking pills like Percocet and Xanax and stuff. So I mean, he started very young with his drugs.
In that chemical life.
And thing that I can relate to is that his mom was super religious growing up, and she wouldn't let him listen to rap music. And my parents didn't not let me listen to rap music. I didn't really listen to rap music when I was a little kid, so I don't think it was an issue. But yeah, they were the type of people who would do stuff like that. But since he couldn't listen to rap music, his mom did let him listen to pop and rock music. So that's where he was listening to a lot of like rock music. Apparently, he cites a lot of influences from like the Tony Hawk soundtrack and from the Guitar Hero soundtrack.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, which, just reading about that was just so funny to me because we're like exactly the same. Like, there's so much music you listen to from Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that's how I found out about Sublime, for instance. I don't know.
Yeah, like Sublime was on there. What else was on Tony? I think Rage Against the Machine was on Tony Hawk as well.
I bet.
Yeah, just a lot of pretty good music. Just like 90s, like kind of rock punk.
Yeah, I thought there was hip hop on Pro Skater.
There's, I think there was rap on there too. There was an Anthrax song on there. Anthrax was some rap group. What was it? Was it Public Enemy?
Maybe.
I think Anthrax covered a Public Enemy song with Public Enemy, and I think that was on one of the Pro Skaters. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was the one that I played a lot when I was a kid. I think it was probably on that one.
I used to play Pro Skater 3.
Mm-hmm. So
you could hop into a tiki thing, like.
I think I used to play that at your house.
There was one that had like a tiki head. You could jump into the tiki head, and then you would go into like this vortex. And I'd be like, "Yo, this is so stupid and so funny."
I literally just remembered playing that at your house with you. Like, you just made me have that memory like come rushing back to me. But yeah, that's where he cites listening to people like Billy Idol, Blink-182, Black Sabbath, Fall Out Boy, stuff like that. At that time.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of listening to the same shit at the time. So he also learned how to play guitar, kind of like in middle school. His mom encouraged that, and he learned how to play drums and piano as well. I think he also played trumpet in like the high school band.
He's a gifted and able.
Yeah, at the same time fucking doing Percocet, Xanax, and lean. So, I mean, and so he started releasing music on SoundCloud his sophomore year of high school. So that's, I calculated, it's around 2014. He would just record stuff on his phone, apparently. And I didn't listen to any of that super early stuff, but I imagine it sounds terrible. So, he releasing shit through high school, and then a little bit after high school. He's doing a stream of releases, gaining a little bit of a following and stuff. And then he releases the song Lucid Dreams in 2018. That was a super smash hit. If you know any song from Juice WRLD, you would know that one.
I've heard it, yeah.
It got to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. So,
doesn't affect me, but I've heard it anyways. Yeah.
I mean, it's all over the radio and stuff. It was a huge hit.
Yeah.
But I remember really liking the fact that it was that huge of a hit because, I mean, I like the song, but I just like the fact that sound was popular. It's just so weird to me that emo rap is even a genre, and the fact that it got as popular as it did is just really cool to me.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of surprising, but then again, nowadays I don't know. It's not like looking back from now. It's just like, yeah, of course it did. I don't know. It seems to make so much sense nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Juice WRLD released 3 albums. Goodbye and Good Riddance in 2018, Death Race for Love in 2019, and Legends Never Die in 2020, like a month ago or even a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even that long ago that this album was released.
It was pretty recent, yeah.
So Legends Never Die is the album that we're going to be talking about. And I chose this one because, Lil Peep is kind of like the beginning of emo rap, or like the start of like the popularization of emo rap. And this is, the current sound of emo rap, kind of like what the sound is now.
The full history, I guess we'll see exactly how the rest of the history will play out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty current genre.
Yeah.
So let's get into the album discussion.
Juice WRLD.
Legends Never Die. So to me, this album has a much more like where we said Lil Peep had a much more like true emo or thing, like kind of that more sad stuff. This has a lot more like a pop punk kind of influence, I think.
Yeah. The influences seem a little different. It's not so much Midwest emo anymore. It seems a lot more like
like Paramore,
like Fall Out Boy,
yeah, My Chemical Romance,
right?
that more like pop punk emo thing.
Yeah, more of like the scene
Yeah,
stirs
yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah, and also the album itself doesn't seem to wallow in the sadness, in like the same way that Lil Peep did.
yeah. I mean, this album, sonically, like musically, it's a lot less sad than Little Peep is.
Yeah.
But I think lyrically, it's basically on the same level. Maybe a little less like self-pitying, maybe than the Little Peep is.
Yeah.
But like still just as sad. Still talking about depression, drug abuse, heartbreak, all that.
This one talks about Satan as well.
What's that line that you kept quoting?
I got demons in my head. I see Satan. Satan. I just love songs about Satan. You know, I don't know. It's like I don't know if people are afraid to bring him up or like if like just
A lot of people are Christian, so
I guess so. I don't know. I love when the Leuven brothers Leuven. I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Satan is real, and I love when Daniel Johnston brought up Satan as
I love
well.
in Black Sabbath when what in the song Black Sabbath doesn't at some point he just screams like Satan or some shit. That's great. But
over here he's talking about Satan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his
But
mom has something to do with it too. But like
But I think this album specifically had a lot more to deal with his like drug abuse. I feel like every song on this album talks about him being addicted to drugs and drugs are gonna like kill him and stuff. And
that's a very it's a very common thread, I would say, in this album.
yeah. And I don't know if you've listened. I'm pretty sure you haven't listened to any of his other shit before this.
No.
But like his last album, Death Race for Love, was really. I think there was a lot more shit about like girls, like heartbreak, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Where this was more about it sounded really more of a reaction to like fame and his, I guess, falling deeper into his drug abuse because of all this stuff. Like he talked a lot about having money, but that not fixing his problems, and Yeah,
it definitely sounds more like somebody who's already made it, quote unquote. But is still coping with their own things. I guess to contrast with the Lil Peep album, I thought this album was mixed a lot better.
Definitely. This is
there's just a lot more variety as well.
Definitely. This is a professional album on a label and stuff. Like this sounds professional. The other shit sounded like a SoundCloud release.
Right. Although it does because it is a professional release. There are some detriments to it. Mm-hmm. Especially the first half. The first half didn't win me over quite as much. There's this one song in particular. Which one is it? Is Hate the Other Side is the name of the song. I just thought that it had too many features and it kind of took away from the song.
Yeah.
I think the songs that I like most from him were just him. And it's him up front and it's about him and he's just talking about like what he's dealing with and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
What were some like highlights on here?
Well, by far the biggest highlight for me was the Up and Away song.
Really?
Up and Away. Yeah, it's got what is it? Is that a ukulele or a guitar? Well, I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure. It kind of has like a, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like a tropical vibe or something to it.
Yeah, it had like a bit of a tropical vibe, and I just thought that that kind of sample and mixed with like the way that he was. I don't know if rapping is really the best way to describe it.
In that song and a couple of other songs on here, he's like rapping / singing in like maybe like a lighter tone of voice, almost like not so much whispery, but just like kind of slight, like kind of subdued.
Yeah,
I
would agree with that. And like I just like the way that like his rhyming pattern.
Went
there. That one definitely stuck out to me. But there's a few other ones that I liked as well. I think what's it called? Like Wishing Well.
Wishing Well is probably my favorite song on this album. I really love that song. I think it has a really good like piano. I don't know if it's a sample or somebody actually playing the piano, but I really like the piano in the song. And just his performance is like really, like just the way he's rapping or singing is like really emotional. Like he's really kind of feeling what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's another one where he's like saying, there's a line he's like, drugs are killing me softly, like Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like the reference there. When talking about variety, I really like the fact that he threw in a couple songs on here that like throw you for a loop, like especially like Come and Go. I think kind of reminded me of like, I don't know, like they're like a Fall Out Boy, Back at the Disco kind of song.
That song, what was another one? Man of the Year.
Man of the Year. That was just like a straight up like pop punk.
Yeah,
song.
that was a straight up pop punk song. It was,
and I mean normally I wouldn't be too into those songs, but like I feel like especially in this album, it like brings in like a different aspect to it, and in a way it like it's like it felt very wholesome in the way that it celebrated.
Yeah.
Itself. Yeah. I don't know what was he saying in there like I know that like I hope to get through or something like that.
in Man of the Year, yeah, he's like, I know my music helped you get through this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's I like the fact that it ended on that song. I mean, it's not the last song, but there's like a little outro thing on there. It's not a song. That's the last actual song, and I like that it ended on kind of a more uplifting note. Not really, because there's a billion sad songs on this album.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the only like uplifting songs.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I did like that. I don't know how I feel about a lot of these interludes that are. I've never been huge on interludes, anyways. On like
I don't.
albums,
Yeah.
but a lot of these in particular, maybe the first time listening through, you're like, yeah, man, I feel that. Like it's like eulogy style interludes, but I don't know if it hurts the listen like the re-listening aspect of the album.
The first time I listened to it, I think I liked the fact that they were included just because, this is a posthumous album and I feel it should have some of that stuff, but, I skip them every time I listen to them now. Like, it kind of does kill the flow of the album. I really don't like skits and stuff in albums, like interludes like that. It's like rap albums in the 90s and 2000s, like having a million skits is so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the most consistent Juice WRLD album, because the ones before this have been like, they had really big highlights, like they had a lot of good songs that I liked, but I could not listen to an entire album because there were a lot of bad songs on there.
Oh, I see.
This is the most consistent one. Like,
yeah, this album,
there's not any songs on here that I think are terrible. There's some that I don't really like. Screw Juice I didn't really like.
I like Screw Juice.
I don't love it. Blood on My Jeans. I
didn't like that one.
Nah, because like it has a cool like acoustic guitar sample on there. It's kind of like fast drummed and stuff, but there's like these huge 808s and like trap beat. It kind of just overpowers everything, and I don't know, just kind of takes away from me.
Yeah, yeah, when it comes to just like his more like a superpower, star power. I don't know if it really comes through with like a lot of these supposedly bigger songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like the songs that I ever liked from Juice WRLD were the ones where it's just like more like small scale.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, something that you like a performance that could be done like in the basement.
Yeah. Like I think Righteous was a song like that, was kind of like sounded a little smaller, like intimate. I think. Like the performance sounded more intimate, but I think he does do well that big like. I mean, I wouldn't say he was like an arena type person or whatever, even though he probably was playing arenas and shit at a certain point. But I think he can do like that bigger sound, like having a big hook and stuff, a big chorus. Like I think Titanic was a song that kind of had a bigger chorus. Bad Energy had a big like
it wasn't bad, yeah.
Sing along kind of thing. Like you could sing along to these stuff.
Yeah.
A song that I really liked on here was Tell Me You Love Me. I really liked the guitar line on there, and it had a feature from Trippie Redd, which is another kind of like emo rapper.
I like that it brought variety to the album. Maybe if it's a standalone track, I'd be like, okay, that's not bad, but like, I didn't mind having it.
A weird thing about that song was like lyrically, there is a, it just like. There's some lines that it's just like, because it's like, tell me you love me. It's like a girl that's like, I guess, leaving him. But it's just like, you'll never leave me. I'm not going to let you leave me kind of shit. I think there's even a point where one of them says, like, I'll take your life away or something. I'm like, what is this?
Oh.
That, like, just let her go.
Is he going to be like a goalkeeper? Like
Going back to the postal service.
Yeah.
These emo guys need to just be like, just let him leave and just cry about it and make a sad song about it. But don't, like, kill them or anything.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've been finding out in recent years that the emo community was not the most wholesome of communities.
No.
But
I mean, the type of people that would obsess that much about a woman and write like entire albums about a girl leaving them one time, probably not the most
right,
stable.
like guys, it's okay. It's okay. Like
yeah, it's just she didn't like you, deal with it.
yeah, I mean, you'll find plenty of other people.
Or not, but like deal with it.
Or not, but yeah, either way.
Like if you're gonna be an incel, just fucking deal with it. People don't like you.
It's okay if you're celibate.
Involuntarily or involuntarily. But yeah, I mean, I really like this album. I think, and this is, I mean, we're gonna talk about their deaths, but this is, you know, Juice WRLD really, like, I was upset when I heard that he died because I wasn't the hugest fan of Juice WRLD, but I really liked the sound that he was doing, and the songs that I liked from him, like, I really liked. I thought he had a few songs that I really liked before, and I felt like he was getting better, and like I thought that he could. Young. Yeah, like he was so young, and he was
like
just,
both 21.
Yeah, and he was so young, and he was just kept getting better, and I'm like, he had the potential of really making like the seminal emo rap album. I think, like, if anybody was gonna make it, I think it would have been him.
Okay,
and you know,
yeah,
that got cut short.
I'm a lot more heartless about these things. I don't know. Maybe you guys think I'm a sociopath or something, but like
I do, yeah.
Well, one, I haven't developed any like strong connection to these artists, like the way maybe I would have, like, you know, if 10 years ago if I was a fan or something like that. Like, you know, for me it was a big deal when like David Bowie died, even though he was 69 years old. But like with these young guys, like I haven't had the chance to like really be fans of them before they die, and well,
I think I'm not one to like care that much when an artist dies because I don't know these people personally. Like I like their music, but other than that, I'm like, you know, but like when people like David Bowie or Prince died, like yeah, I love their music. It sucks that they died, but you know, people die. But like I think Juice WRLD really his death bothered me just because he was so young and he could have done so much more.
Yeah,
like when David Bowie died, he changed music. Like he was, he already did everything that he was gonna do before he died.
I mean, he could have done maybe a little bit.
I mean, Black Star was amazing.
Yeah, like I'm sure he had more.
He made that. I mean, Black Star. He made that knowing he was gonna die. The whole album's about his fucking death. So.
Right. So I mean, that's kind of a special album there. But like, I don't know. Maybe this is a little bit of. I don't know which side of me this is coming from, but like, I'm really not a fan of like this like hyper drug culture that like hip hop has.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think this drug culture has really replaced like the gang culture kind of thing that was in previous. Like that whole gangster rap shit, that was like the leading hip hop for a while until like the mid 2000s, really, until when people like Kanye West. I think Kanye West was one of the main people that really changed it because when he became huge.
Well, even before that, like just with the death of Tupac and Biggie, really put a big damper on the whole gangster thing. But like, people still pretended to be gangster, but like the actual gangster associations, were kind of like going away.
But Kanye West was like in his first album, fucking Spaceship, he was rapping about working at Gap. Like, just songs like that where you're rapping about working a fucking retail job. I think that's amazing that like coming
popping your collar.
Yeah, like coming from like the biggest rappers were rapping about fucking violence and gangs and shit. Like, and Kanye West is like, no, I just, you know, dropped out of college and I worked at the Gap and I didn't like it. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And, you know, I love the fact that Kanye West, I think, popularized rapping about just normal shit. Like, just what you're going through, like your normal life. Right. That's where people like Kid Cudi and Drake come from. Like,
I mean, and I like what I really like about this genre, is just that it's been able to expand what hip hop can talk about, what
Yeah.
can like the kind of emotions
And the
that
way
it can
that
tackle.
and the way that hip hop sounds,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The sounds as well. Yeah. I mean, at this point is we keep talking about this with other artists too. Just genres as we know them have become a lot more muddled as we get
Yeah.
like in the in between spaces of them, and but yeah, but I mean, I don't know, going back like to the whole drug thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's cool for me to like come over here and be like, don't do drugs, kids. Like, just say no, and like go all Nancy Reagan on you. But like,
But yeah, don't. I mean,
like at the very least, like understand what's going on, and like there's even if there's like certain things that like sometimes you think you can stop, and then like you might not be able to stop.
well, I mean, we can transition into what happened. So,
Yeah.
Lil Peep on November 15th of 2017 was found dead on his tour bus of an overdose, fentanyl and Xanax. He was 21 years old. And Juice WRLD in December 8th of 2019, so like 8 months ago,
Yeah.
he was found dead. He was flying into the Chicago airport, and apparently the police were waiting for him because they had been tipped off that he had like guns and drugs on his plane. So, I guess in an attempt,
Didn't that happen with the Miami guy too? The
which guy?
Lil the Gucci Gang guy?
Lil Pump?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he got stopped.
Not that
at
I've
the
heard
airport.
of him, maybe.
Yeah.
But so I guess in an attempt to hide some of the drugs, he just swallowed a bunch of pills
Oh man.
and overdosed. So as well, and he was 20 years old, so even younger.
Right.
So yeah, this really, and I mean, and like we mentioned, Triple X Tentacion as well.
Well, he got shot.
He got shot, but it just like it was a spree of deaths. 2017 Lil Peep, 2018 was Triple X, and 2019 was Juice WRLD. It's just kind of a big blow to this genre of music. Kind of the biggest artists in this genre all died one after another.
Yeah. I would like to say that like, maybe if there's one significant death, it can kind of bolster people to get behind a genre, or like, it'll bolster the other artists to like, I don't know, maybe like see like put more effort into their music or see things in a different light. But when like so many of them do die, it like very much literally like starts to kill the genre. I can't tell you for sure how, like, I didn't know much about this genre just last week, but just like knowing about it now, I can't promise you this genre how much longer it'll last.
I mean, Juice WRLD just died, but I don't know who would be the other big rapper to carry the mantle of what he was doing. I hope this spawns like him, like people like him and Lil Peep kind of spawn more people to kind of carry that sound. Because I think it's an interesting sound that I want to see pursued more.
Right.
But, I don't really see that happening right now.
Well, like, at the very, like, thinking back to when, like, Kurt Cobain died, we said it killed grunge. A lot of people just kind of, like, stopped and reflected about what was going on. And, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are really taking these deaths to heart, like...
Well, I mean, if
you
they
just started liking these people, and then, like, now they die, and you haven't even, like, finished high school yet, like...
I mean, I really hope it at least gets people to stop doing this level of drugs, because, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's just the amount, like, fucking
Or, like, at
Juice
least,
WRLD was fucking drinking lean in 6th grade.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah. Or, like, if you're around, like, people, and if you see somebody's definitely gone beyond the limit, like, like, not always be a yes man to somebody. Like, there's a point when, like, there's a line that you don't need to cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's our PSA portion of this episode.
PSA.
After school special. Don't fucking drink lean in middle school.
So my little what's it called? Danny. You never watched Full House? What's his face? Danny Tanner. That's my Danny Tanner moment.
Did he have moments?
My Bob Saget moment right there.
Okay. So yeah, that's That's really our emo rap episode. We kind of covered what we want to cover. I mean, I like talking about these smaller genres. I mean, this genre's not even. I mean, it might be done. I don't know, but it's really 5 years old at this point.
Right.
So it's pretty young.
I would say if you're not like a typical like hip hop fan, but you find yourself listening to a lot of this like late 90s 2000s kind of music, give this a shot. Maybe you'll be surprised and you'll like it. I don't know. That's my little recommendation to that.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Follow us at Blood on the Mic 1 on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at Blood on the Mic. Follow me on Twitter at what's my Twitter? Torna Lewis.
And make sure to smash that subscribe button, ring that bell, get notifications.
Like our video, comment, tell us that we're pieces of shit or whatever, or just tell us you like us.
Yeah, stay tuned for new music updates that we're bringing you every week.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.